All right. Good evening. It's Friday night. Welcome back to the man cave where we do what we do every Friday night. Uh, let's see here. I got brother Jeff in here with us again. Jeff, glad to have you. Jeff, can you hear me? Uh-oh. I'm not sure if brother Jeff can hear me. Tanya, are you with us?
Yes,
Awesome.
I
I'm
am.
not sure if Jeff can hear me.
Hmm.
Jeff was having a little audio trouble earlier. Jeff, how's it going? Can you hear us? Hi, Beth. We'll hang on here for a minute and see if Jeff gets
Can
his
you hear me,
audio
John?
going. Yeah, I hear you now. Can you hear me?
The sound is really messed up
Yeah,
at my end all of a sudden.
your audio's a little odd. It sounds a little tinny and like it's in a can. But can you hear us? I'm not sure if Jeff hears us. So we're gonna kick off with a drink, just like we always do. I'm gonna get into some Eagle Rare here tonight. Tanya, you having a drink?
I'm having some ginger ale tonight.
Hey
In
Ryan,
my
glad you're here with us. I'm going to work on getting this bottle empty so I can make room in my cabinet for another one. We're going to get the Eagle Rare flowing down here tonight.
Hey, John, if you can hear me, I'm going to have to drop off and come back in because you're all garbled.
Okay. I'm going to take Jeff down, and he's got the link to come back. So, Tanya, you having a drink with us tonight?
I'm having a ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Yes,
Awesome.
and the Butamus Kamado Joe.
Man, now
Terrace.
that's a classic piece right there. They only made a limited number of those, and I was fortunate enough to get a couple of them. Those are really old, and they don't do that again. So, Russ, glad to have you with us. Some Goose Island 2021 Bourbon County Stout. Awesome. I'm getting some Eagle Rare going here. Let's pull Jeff back into the loop. Jeff, you with
Yeah.
us?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
That's working better.
All of a sudden you're going, I'm going, wow.
Yeah, it sounded weird. I'm not sure what was going on. You having a drink with us tonight? Is it
Absolutely. Jack
Daniel?
number 7.
Jack number 7. Awesome.
Cheers.
I cooked. I used a little Jack number 7 in one of my cooks this week that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. I'm glad everybody can be with us tonight. And first thing I want to say for everybody that's following along with us on YouTube tonight, on Facebook tonight, if we run into a problem on the Facebook stream like we did last week, on the Man Cave Meals Facebook page, I posted a comment right underneath the announcement for this stream where you can go watch on the YouTube link if something goes wrong. I do not know what happened last week. I talked to the tech support people from StreamYard, and they had me disconnect and reconnect my account to Facebook, and hopefully we won't have that problem again. Daryl, I'm jealous. Weller's one of the bourbons I haven't been able to get my hands on yet. I want to get some of that first opportunity. And Levi, I'm glad you're trying the single barrel select. I'd really like to know how you feel about that because that's my house bourbon, or my house whiskey. That's my go-to because it's great and I can get it all the time. I don't have to hunt for it. So yeah, Huzaifa says he has a friend just got the Kettle Joe. That thing dropped. It went on sale for an even lower price this past week. It was on sale from $4.99 to $3.89, but they're $2.99 right now, and I don't know how long that's going to last. So, cheers, everybody! Welcome to the Man Cave. Tanya's tearing up that ginger ale. So, on my way home from Atlanta this morning, I was on the phone with Tanya, and I told her I was going to stop by the store on the way home. I needed to pick up a few things. I asked her if she wanted anything. She says, "Get me some ginger ale." Well, I went on to the store and I got everything I needed. And what did I not get? ginger ale. I left Tanya hanging, and I felt bad about it. She asked me just a little while ago, "Did you get me some ginger ale?" And I did a face palm and said, "No, I forgot it." And I said, "I'll go get you some." And she says, "No, I got to go to the store anyway." So she ended up going to the store and getting it herself. Tanya, I'm sorry about that.
It's
I didn't do
okay.
it on purpose. You know how absent-minded I am when I'm trying to remember stuff like
I
that.
do know. And the reason I'm not drinking coffee, Scott, is not because I don't love it, but like it's the end of the semester. I have 2 days left. We are starting the Great Great-a-thon weekend, and I have actually filled the hopper up with caffeinated coffee beans to make it through this weekend. So I didn't want to have caffeinated coffee tonight. And I'll be
Yeah,
honest, I was too lazy to grind the decaf beans in a different grinder and put it in the chute.
Tanya, you're going to have to hook up with Gerben now, Tanya, because Gerben's bought one just like ours. He's got the same machine we have.
Yeah.
So, Tom, glad you could make it in with us. I got to see Tom Cleveland yesterday as well at Atlanta Grill Company. So, Mark McKenna, I had, was it last week that I had the McKenna? I've got a bottle of that. It's pretty good bourbon. So,
See there, John? One
yeah,
thing, John.
I
You
know,
had
I know.
one
I had
job.
one job. But man, let me tell you, I'm just going to give up something. I was having a problem. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm going to keep this to
Don't.
myself. This, I was
Y'all,
having
trust me,
some.
you do not want to hear the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You just don't.
Is that the
My
problem you
diet,
told me about?
yeah. My diet yesterday created some let's call it lower GI pressure. Let's just leave it at that. On my way home from Atlanta this morning, so I was wanting to go get some Alka Seltzer. All right, Tanya, I'm gonna drop you down here. We'll get you back on here in a little bit. Tanya's gonna be running our show. Jeff, what did you cook this week?
What did I cook this week? Let's see. I started off with smoked the chicken using the Myron Mixon keto rub for the white
Yep.
chili. Gosh,
Hmm.
my wife loves that recipe. That is
It's
good
good.
stuff. And we started putting it over rice cauliflower.
Yeah.
That makes it. And then last night I smoked a couple pork tenderloins, and then Monday Kathy and I baked 3,300 Christmas cookies. So they're
Oh,
all gone
yeah.
and out of the house, and I didn't eat a single one, John. Not a one.
Well, let me tell you, hey, Jeff, I was put to the test yesterday by Mr. Scott Love, who's in here with us tonight. I was standing down at Atlanta Grill Company, and Scott walks in, and he's got three of these plastic lunch trays full of chocolate chip. They're huge chocolate chip cookies, about the size of my face, and they're about 2 inches thick. And oh man, I was just looking at those things. I said, man, I know that's good. Uh,
Yep.
and I behaved. I did not. I looked at them and I smelled them, but I did not touch one of them.
And how many carbs did you add to your carb counter for that smell?
Just the smell. I didn't figure it cost me too many carbs for the
Mm.
smell. Husafa wants to know what kind of pellets you're using in your mixing.
Uh, right now I'm using a blend of hickory and apple. I like
Whose pellets are you using?
B&B.
B&B. I like B&B. Uh, B&B is my go-to here at the man cave. I use they've got I can't remember if it's called a competition blend or it's some sort of
Yep.
blend that I can get a 40-pound bag of it for like $15 at Academy
Yep.
Sports, and it's
That's
it's
where I
my
get it.
fa- it's my favorite blend. It's oak, pecan, and cherry,
Yep.
and it has the most beautiful aroma. Pecan and cherry are my go-to, and if I can't get that for some reason, I buy pecan and cherry and just mix it 50-50. So,
Well,
Tom
this last
says,
time at Academy, they didn't have the that competition blend, so I ended up having to get the hickory and the apple.
right, but the hickory and apple's another good combo. It really is. That apple has a beautiful aroma, and it does match up well with hickory. I've mixed that before with lumberjack. I've bought lumberjack 100% hickory, and I've bought the 100% apple and just mixed them up. They do well together, but the pecan and cherry blend is still my favorite, and that's what I use for everything. I don't swap out. I don't switch up. I just use that on everything, and that keeps me from having to have a bunch of different containers to store pellets in. And I just use the same, pretty much use the same pellets all the time. Uh, but it B and B makes good stuff. Lumberjack is awfully popular. I haven't spent a lot of money on the lumberjack stuff, but there's a place up the road here called Rural King, and I can run to Rural King and whatever they have, I can buy 20-pound bags of it for $8 or $8.99. It's pretty cheap, but I do buy mainly the B and B when I can. So you cooked all week long on the mixing on the bark, right? Did you cook
Yep.
any on anything else this week?
No, just those two items. I say that did me up good for the week.
So you've put a lot of miles on that bark so far.
Yep, and I tell you what, in all seriousness, that thing has been a beast. It has been solid. Uh, when Myron says they built that thing to military grade, he's not joking. He's not pulling your chain on that. That thing is just fantastic, John.
Right. So, out of all the cooking you've done on it so far, is there anything you'd like to see different about it? Is there any, does it have
No,
any shortcomings?
the only shortcoming that I think it's going to have for some people, not for me because I use my fireboard, is it only has one meat probe poured on
Right.
it. I,
Yeah.
for a grill that size, I'd like to see four on the thing because
I'd
there's
have
people
to,
out there.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Janice, glad you could make it in with us tonight.
I mean, that's the
I'm
only
with you.
shortcoming I see.
Four would be good. That brings up another thing I'll tell you about. I've been I've got the fireboard also, and I would use the fireboard with that as well. But I did something today that I don't normally do anymore, or I actually did it yesterday. I don't normally ask companies to provide me with gear very often anymore. There's some rare instances where I will, but I decided that I wanted to have a closer look at the meter wireless, and I've got a meter plus here that I don't care for. The Bluetooth range on it's just not good enough to suit me. So I sent a request into that company to see if I could get them to provide me with the meter block that's got the Wi-Fi package built in. And if they provide me with one of those, I'm going to do a review of it and I'm going to have a little bit closer look at it because if its connectivity is good, which it should be, it might offer a couple of advantages on some other things I like to do that we'll look into. So I may be getting that, I may not. If they provide me with one, I'm going to do a very thorough review of it and a demo. But if they don't, I'm probably going to skip it. I don't want one bad enough to spend the money on it because the two probe set is 229 and the four probe set's 299. It's a good bit of money for one that won't control the grill. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Beth, if they provide me with one, I might I'm gonna do a review. I feel bad because I don't really I haven't really given the meter a fair shake. I've had some issues with like I said the one I have, and I bought this other thing called the Meat Stick, which is a similar system, but it's got Wi-Fi built in and it works very well. The meter system works extremely well, but what I don't like about the meter system, the more I use it, is the software. The software and the phone app for that thing is nowhere near as nice as the meter one. So yeah, Cindy, the Meter Plus, can't you, if you have uh, an extra phone or an extra tablet that you're not using at the time, you can create a Wi-Fi bridge with that on the Meter Plus, but it does require that hardware. So we'll talk more about that a little later if I get one, and I'll do some advanced reviews on it because the meter might be a cool item to use in a pellet grill as well, since it's not a fan, not running a fan controller. But uh, let's see here. The Fireboard, I'm a Fireboard fan through and through.
Yep.
I I've not used anything so far that I like as well as I like the Fireboard. The the Fireboard, I'm using the Fireboard Pro, uh, and yeah, it works really well. Carla says she's totally stoked with the duck video, and that's where we're going to go now. We're going to talk about that. I hope a few of you may have gotten a chance to see the duck video that I published earlier this afternoon. I did a duck on the rotisserie, and I did that because you guys requested duck a couple weeks back when we talked about stuff to do during the Christmas season. A lot of people said they'd like to see another duck, so that's what I did. I found another one, and let's just have a look at that. Uh, oops, hang on a minute. I hate it when this does this right during my live stream time. It's going to make me log back into Google. So
Of course.
yeah, I had it up and
Hi,
running, and
Janet.
just as we come into the live stream, it's going to make me log back in. So here we go. All right, this was a 5.5 pound duck. This I believe I get these at Walmart. This time of year, ducks show up, frozen ducks show up in the meat case at my local Walmart stores, and it's a company called Maple Leaf Farms. I don't know anything about them. I haven't bothered to research anything about them because I don't really care, simply because that's the only duck I can buy locally. Uh, I can't buy duck anywhere else in my area that I'm aware of. Publix never has them. So I thawed it out. I took this out of its packaging and I dried it off as best I could. I took, paper towels. I get the outside of it. I even try to get on the inside of it as much as I can. And so I seasoned it. I made a seasoning blend to go on this that was a 50-50 blend of coarse kosher salt and Chinese five spice. And you see I'm using the turbo trusser here. I wanted to try the turbo trusser out on a duck. This is the chicken version of the turbo trusser. And if you look here in this area right here, the duck's legs are smaller and the balls down here on the end are smaller than a chicken. And when I put that on there, I'm thinking to myself, that's probably not going to hold very well. So before I actually put this guy on the rotisserie, I did tie those legs together. I tied them. I tied a string across here and tied them fairly tight inside the truss, and it held up pretty well. But anyway, I seasoned this guy with the five spice and the salt. I put it on this rack, put it back in the refrigerator for 24 hours in my case. You'd need to go, I would try to go at least 8 hours or at least overnight if you do this. But we're kind of doing a dry brine, and by putting it back in the refrigerator, we're going to kind of help dry that skin out a little bit more also. So the next morning, duck and orange are a thing for some reason or another. And I decided not to really try to break that tradition because this duck actually came with a packet of some kind of orange sauce in the package. I don't know what that orange sauce is like because I didn't even open it. It went straight in the garbage can because I wanted to make a homemade orange sauce. So I took some orange marmalade, and to that orange marmalade, I added some Run Amok maple syrup, which Run Amok is a brand that they carry at Atlanta Grill Company, and it's amazing maple syrup. Jeff, you guys have bought some of those, right?
5 different flavors.
It's good stuff. So
That's
I
great
put
stuff.
I put I started out here with a cup of orange marmalade. Just I bought the Schmucker's orange marmalade because I like it because it's got nice big pieces of orange zest in it. You can see that here. I added to that a quarter of a cup of Run Amok maple syrup, and I use that Sugar Maker's cut, Jeff. That's one of my favorite ones. It's not a
That's good.
flavored one. It's just a straight up maple syrup. I didn't want to add a flavored one to this because it's going to
Yeah.
get lost in the orange. And I added a quarter of a cup of Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 to this as well. And then we added uh, a quarter of a teaspoon of ground ginger, and I added a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. I put this in a sauce, all of it in a saucepan, and I brought it up to a simmer because I wanted to see how thin it was going to be and if it needed to reduce any. And it really didn't. This set of ingredients with that much orange marmalade, the thickness of it was pretty good. It didn't need to be reduced any, but I wanted to heat it up enough where it would start to bring that ginger out. You know, that ground ginger. I wanted that to have a nose in here, so I heated it up to a simmer, and then I just put a lid on it and took it off the heat and let it stay warm till we were ready to use it because this was going to serve two purposes. I'm going to baste the duck while it's on the spit, and I'm going to use some of this also to drizzle on it after I take the duck apart. So this orange sauce is a big deal. This is amazing. And guys, for what it's worth, this orange sauce is gonna have. You can do a lot more with this than just put it on a duck. You could glaze your twice smoked ham with this. Uh, you could drizzle this on ice cream. I mean, it's very versatile, and you could go further with it if you wanted to make it. Uh, you could actually put some additional Chinese five spice in this if you wanted to, because that's going to go really well with orange also. But anyway, we put the duck on the spit, and I let the duck spin for 30 minutes or so and let some of the fat start rendering before I started basting. And also, I forgot to tell you, I showed in the video, I took a corn holder and I poked the skin. I poked all over the skin on this thing because if you've ever cooked a duck before or ever had a duck, underneath the skin, there's a thick layer of fat over the whole bird. This is nothing like a chicken. If you've not had one of these before, you'd have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. There's a big fat layer under there, and poking the skin or scoring the skin helps give the fat an opportunity to render out while it's cooking. So I put it on the rotisserie. I built a fire. I used the firebox divider in the Classic 3 and just kept my coals to the back side of the grill. And when I decided I typically like to do an open dome cook for when I cook on the rotisserie, but I know most other people don't. So on this cook, I cooked with the lid down, but I had both of my vents fully open. I had the top vent fully open and the bottom vent fully open. And I wanted to keep my dome temperature on this cook between 300 and 350 degrees. I didn't want it to go outside of that range too much. So to manage the temperature, you either add more charcoal to the fire or you take some out. You know, if it's too hot in there, you can reach in there with a tong and grab a piece of the charcoal and just take it out and put it somewhere safe. So we let it spin, and this guy, you know, it's starting to take on color here. You can see it. And also in this picture, you can see how I tied those ducks' legs together to where those legs would stay in the turbo trusser. They might, I'm not going to say they wouldn't have stayed. I just assumed that they might not. So I tied them up with a chicken or with a chicken in this thing, you don't have to do that. And on the turkey version, you wouldn't have to do that either. So let's see here. Christopher, if you could do the exact same thing on the grate. Just I would, if you're doing it on a grate, I would do it with the heat deflector in place, and I would probably have my temperature up around 375, maybe even 400 for a direct grate cook. So we just let this guy go, and you can see here later on in the cook, it's picking up a lot of beautiful color. Yeah, Janice, they're fatty. That's how duck is, and that's part of what makes duck what it is. They're gonna be fat there. It's gonna have a fat layer. It's kind of like, I would say it's kind of like a ribeye. You don't want all that fat gone because there's an awful lot of flavor there. And we just let this guy turn, and when to a finishing, Jeff, if you've cooked a lot of duck, right?
Yep.
I decided to stop my duck when my internal temperature in the deep part of the breast was 147, 148, 150. A lot of people will stop a duck at 140, and some people will take the duck on up to 165 or 170. But I kind of like the 150 spot. Where do you stop yours?
145 on mine.
145. So we're close.
Yep.
We're not that far off. So, but it just keeps developing color, and this is what it looked like when I took it off. You know, it's got a nice. This skin is not. It's not a crispy skin, so it's the same kind of skin you'd get on a chicken. Doing it on the rotisserie, it has what I like to refer to as a bite through texture. It's not real rubbery, but it's not crisp. It just has a bite through texture. So I took this guy off when my internal temperature got where I wanted it, and then I covered it with foil, and I let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then I decided to break it down. I took it into quarters, and then I took the breast off the bone completely and just sliced down this breast, as you can see here, and I drizzled it with some of my orange sauce. And let's see here. This, you can see this line through here. I hope you can see my mouse in there. You see that line? That's the separation line between the meat and the fat and the skin. You have a fat layer here. And if you don't want that fat layer, when you get to this point, you can pull it off if you want to, but man, that stuff's delicious. Jeff, how far do you cook yours? Do you cook yours down further than that in terms of the fat layer?
Nope. 145, like I say, then let it rest, and it comes up to about 150 after the rest.
Yeah, but you're saving that fat layer about like I have here, right?
Yep, because that's good eating. But you don't want any more fat than that, because I've seen some people undercook and they've got a real huge fat layer.
Yep.
That's just,
now,
it's not good.
I would, on a different note here, if I was cooking just a duck breast, I would prepare it a little differently. And I've got a couple of duck breasts now that I'm going to do after the first of the year to show you how I would do a duck breast differently, because I'm going to sear that duck breast skin side down, and I'm going to render a little bit more fat out of that when I do it that way. So we'll have another cook of duck breast probably in January, hopefully, that we'll be able to get into there. So what do you think, Jeff? Did I do okay on that?
Looks, I'd eat it any day of the week, buddy.
If you weren't going to do a duck with orange, what would you do? Because I'm lost. I don't know what your other orange duck is just a thing. And what else would you do?
It's either orange or cherry. That's the only two things I've ever seen. Yeah.
Would you ever do one that didn't have a sweet element to it?
I haven't. I mean, the whole time in the restaurant business, either cooking the whole duck or a duck breast always had a sweet element to it.
Well, I've never seen one on a menu anywhere that didn't have orange. You know, duck l'orange is the thing.
Yep.
That's just the way people roll with duck. Now, I was talking with Chef Eric yesterday, and a lot of people do duck make taco meat with duck, and I guess you could do it with or without orange if you're going to do a taco meat. So Cindy's done Creole, and I think I could go for that. But when I taste the duck, I'm not trying to. Uh, yes, Peter, I did. I used my corn holder with the little pointers on it, and I poked all over the skin. It's in the video, so if you watch my video, you'll get to watch me do that in the video. But uh, duck reminds me of pork in one way. The duck meat to me, and it may just be me. I don't know if everybody feels the same way, but the duck meat has a natural sweetness to it. Do you get that with duck, Jeff, or is it just
No, it has a natural sweetness. I mean, that's the appealing part of it.
well, it's not. It's nothing. It's not like chicken, and it's not
Yep.
like turkey. And duck, that breast is dark meat. There's no light and dark on a duck. It's all dark. Uh, the breast meat is just as good as the thigh and the leg. You know, it's all dark meat because all the muscles on a duck are working muscles. This is a flying bird. It's not like a chicken or a turkey. They don't. The breast meat on chickens and turkeys are muscles that aren't worked often. Ducks are different.
Have you had ostrich, John?
I have not had ostrich.
You need to get yourself some ostrich, buddy. That
Well,
is, it's a red meat,
yeah,
and when it's on your plate, it almost looks like a filet mignon. But that thing is so tender, you can cut it with a wooden spoon.
I'll have to figure it out. Uh, in this culinary vacuum in which I live, I haven't seen ostrich. It'd be something I have to mail order. So, hi Alexander, glad you could be with us from Quebec. No, it's Quebec, up in the Great White North. I bet it's getting the chilly time of year up there. Ostrich is delicious, Cindy says. Yeah, I'll have to try
It
it.
is.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll look for it. We're going to talk about. I did get an opportunity to buy some nice meat yesterday. We're gonna look at that too here in just a bit. So let me see where we are in the picture thread here. There's the last picture I have from the duck. On this picture you can see a little bit better here the meat and the fat layer and the skin. I got a little bit closer with the camera, but this was delicious. And this duck breast is what I had for lunch uh, on Wednesday when I cooked it. It's really good, really, really a delicious cook. Okay, yesterday I went to Atlanta Grill Company. Uh, a week ago, Chef Eric Gephardt, you guys all know Eric. I had to call him about some stuff, and he told me, he says, I'm going to be in Atlanta next week and I'd like to go to Atlanta Grill Company. He says, if I go, do you think you'd be able to come down? I said, well, just let me know when you're going and I'll try to make it happen. So on Tuesday, he said, I'm going to go down this past Tuesday. He said, I'm going to go on Thursday. Can you go? I said, yeah, I'll go. So Eric and I went down to Atlanta Grill Company yesterday. Eric had to go down for some other business that was happening today. The Kamado Joe and Masterbuilt crew were having their Christmas party, and Eric was going down for that today. So we met and we had a very informal little meet and greet at Atlanta Grill Company at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. But I got there a little early. I got there about 1:30 because I wanted to look at this. They have the new Aaron Franklin model of the PK grill on the floor down there, and I wanted to go have a close up look at it because I know we've talked about this before, but now I know for sure I want one of these. This is the new PK grill. This capsule, the grill capsule, is pretty much the same size as the original PK grill, but there's a lot of enhancements and new features on this model that didn't exist before. As you can see here, they've totally redeveloped their cart. This cart is really, really nice compared to the previous models. And the Aaron Franklin model has these two racks on there that will hold a half sheet pan. And to me, that's a beautiful thing because you can have your prep sitting on these half sheet pans right underneath your grill, ready to go, easy to access. You have two side tables on this cart instead of just one that you have on the new PK 300 has just one. This one has two. And here's a little bit closer look at the racks that hold those half sheet pans. These pans don't come with it. If you don't already have some half sheet pans, you have to buy a couple if you want them. And Atlanta Grill Company has recently started carrying the USA pan line, which is what these are. And I've got several of those here at the house. Those are amazing pans. But it's got this little front table on it with a tool hanger bar that, or a towel hanger bar, whatever you want to hang on that none of the other models of the PK have that. Uh, this is exclusive to this grill model. The new PK 300 and the 300 AF have the new designed top air vents. These air vents are spring loaded, where there's some tension on these guys, where they stay where you put them, and there's some little notches here if you're into that kind of thing to know where you have your vents set. On the back side of this grill, just below the dome, there is a port where you can run in temperature probe wires if you want to use something like a fireboard or any of the other wired temperature probes. You can run them in through these ports on the back side of this guy. These side tables on the PK Aaron Franklin and the regular PK 300, they fold down, so you can make that guy fit into another place. And Hank, yeah, I'm going to talk about the color here in a moment. This grill comes in two colors. That top piece can be that teal, or it can be what they call charcoal. I'm not so sure. The teal, when I was talking to the guys down there yesterday, the teal is the one that people are buying. They're not buying the charcoal one, but I think I want the dark colored one. That teal may be pretty, but man, it's going to get grubby looking. It's going to get dirty. So, but anyway, that side table folds down. Both of them fold down. And here's a closer up look at that top vent. And there's some tension on this guy. So when you move it, you can feel the tension, and it's going to stay where you put it. It's not going to inadvertently move when you open the dome or anything, when you open the top of the grill. So this grill is just like the older style PKs. The lid opens up to the side, just like you see here. That's all of these grills do it this way, except for the PK 360 and the PK Go. They open up to the back, but this is their traditional method. And here you can look down in the grill. It's got the stainless steel cooking grate, and there's a hinged element of it here on one side where you can raise it up and have access to your charcoal. This one's actually in the wrong orientation. I think I'd normally have that to the other side over here. And here you can see that open, and underneath it you have the heavy duty stainless steel charcoal grate. And underneath the charcoal grate, they have, on this model and the regular PK 300, they have redesigned the air intake, the lower air intakes, where they have a cover over them where you don't have to worry about hot ashes or embers falling out of the bottom of the grill. That problem is solved in both of the new updated models. So the Aaron Franklin grill, Jeff, is my next target. That's I'm going to move my PK 360 out of here and bring that one in. The PK 360 is a little bigger. It's 360 square inches of cooking space instead of 300, but I like the feature set on this grill much better than I like the feature set on the 360.
Go for it.
Yeah. What do you think about that teal color? How do you feel about that? I can see that's an Aaron Franklin thing. That's Aaron's choice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's an Aaron thing, and you're right. I mean, it's going to get grody, but
Well, Gary told me that that's what people are buying. Out of everything they've sold so far, I think he said like 9 out of 10 of them are buying the teal instead of the charcoal color. Cindy says she doesn't like that bar. Cindy, that bar is not very big. It's really not. It's really not going to get in your way. It's thin. It's maybe 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches off the front of the grill. And this grill's low. This grill, first of all, this grill, the grilling grate is a little higher than the original PK grill, but it's a little lower than the 360. It's not quite as high off the ground as the 360, but for me, it's a pretty comfortable height. I'm short also, Cindy. I don't know how tall you are, but I'm 5'6". No, Scott, you can't say that.
he did. He just said it.
I know he did. See, my wife's gonna, Tanya's gonna have something to say about that. But yeah, Tanya, I'm not. Scott was getting on me yesterday, Jeff, because I wore my Wolfpack, my North Carolina State Wolfpack hat down yesterday, and I'm not anti Tar Heel. I like the Tar Heels. I'm an ACC guy, and I am a North Carolina school ACC guy, so I like all the North Carolina ACC teams. Duke, Carolina, North Carolina State University, Wake Forest. Have I missed? I haven't missed anybody. Those are the 4 ACC schools here in North Carolina. I like them all. I will pull for all of them over whoever else they're playing. It gets a little hairy when they're playing each other, and I usually just get away. Oh boy, Cindy's shorter than I am. Well, Cindy, I know what it's like. You would do fine with it. Cindy, you'd like the height. You'd like the working height of this grill. It's lower. It's lower than the Kamado Joe Classic. So at Atlanta Grill Company, what did I buy? You know, I never go down there without buying anything. My Auto Wild broiler, it needed a jacket. So I picked up the cover for the Auto Wild so I can keep my Auto Wild clean while it's living out here on my deck under the canopy out there. And this cover is really nice. It's got a zip up and an outlet on the back where you can put this thing on it and keep it on there without having to disconnect the gas line. And that also secures it where the wind can't take that thing and blow it off. It's going to be fastened to the gas line. I bought some meat, and this is out of order. And hang on a second. Are these pictures bad? That sometimes they get out of order. Let me come back. That picture doesn't even really need to be there. So let's go back. What else did I buy? I bought these. I hadn't seen these before. I don't know if I had just overlooked them or what, but these are some silicone mats that are designed to go underneath a cutting board. And you know, if you put your cutting boards down on a work surface like a granite counter or something, they like to slide. And you know, the old trick is you put a damp towel underneath it or a damp paper towel, and it'll firm that up and not let your board slide. But this stuff is silicone, and these are 15 by 20 inches, so you can cut them down to whatever perfect size you need to go under a cutting board and keep your cutting board from sliding around. And I like the idea of using this where I'm not either throwing paper towels away or not having to wet a towel. I bought 2 of these. I bought one to use outside at the grills and another one to use inside. These were like $12 a piece. They were cheap. So I bought the cover, I bought the hat, or I bought these gripper mats, and I bought myself another hat. They had this hat the last time I was down there. But you see down here, this says large, extra large, because I got a big tater. They had the small mediums before, and they were a little too small for me because this is a stretch fit hat rather than a snapback. But they finally got the bigger ones in, so I picked one of these up. And guys, I do not know why they don't have these on the website where people can order them. I think they wouldn't be able to keep these things in stock if they'd put this stuff for sale online. Jeff, do you have an Atlanta Grill Company hat? Oh, you're wearing one. Okay, I didn't even see that.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
one. I got a couple more in the back.
See, my problem is I got a huge tater, and only certain hats will fit me. So I have to be peculiar and particular about what kind of hats I get. But here's what that. Say what?
What, did you buy any Le Creuset while you were there?
I did not buy any Le Creuset. I didn't
I think
go
I
down
own
there.
more of that than you do.
Man, this is December. I'm spent out, man. I've got all my Christmas shopping done, and I'm trying not to spend any more money this month. But this is what that mat looks like, and you can cut this down to fit whatever you want to fit. But I'm going to leave this one that I use outside. I'm going to leave it at 15 by 20 because I work out here. When I pull pork, I put a hotel pan out here, and I can set that under the hotel pan to keep that hotel pan on this granite table out there is all over the place without something underneath it, and this will keep it in place. I went to Patton's Meat Market in Duluth, Georgia, on my way to Atlanta Grill Company yesterday. This is a full service butcher, and I know some of you guys. Luca lives close to these people. I don't know if Luca's in here with us tonight or not, but Luca gets to visit these people regularly. I think Gerben's not too far from where they live either, or from where this place is. But I went in there. I didn't know if I was going to buy anything, but just in case, I did put one of my Yeti coolers in the back of my car with a bunch of ice, so I could bring some meat home. But these are I guess you could call this osso buco. These are beef shanks, and these are beautiful. These guys are 2 inches thick, and I brought these home, and I stuck them in the freezer because it's going to be after the first of the year till I get anything done with these. But we're going to do osso buco again. I haven't done that in a very long time, but these beef shanks are fun to cook. What I like to do is I like to sear them off in a pan, and then then you just braise them, and you make a mirepoix, and then you put in a little tomato paste and some beef stock or whatever, and you braise these guys, and they get super flaky, fall apart tender. It's a real treat if you've never had this before, and then you can serve it over. I don't know what I think traditionally osso buco. Jeff, would you say osso buco is traditionally served over rice?
I would say.
Well,
But I like using those and braising them and then making sandwiches.
sandwiches. Well,
Yeah.
and also, yeah, you could do tacos. This would make good taco meat also, but you could serve this over mashed potatoes, or you could serve it over grits. There's a lot of things you can do with this. It's a really a great piece of meat, and they're typically not very expensive. I don't remember exactly what I paid. I bought these two, and I bought another piece of meat here, and I spent nearly $100, so it wasn't real cheap. Yeah, Janice, they're super tender, but I put those away, and I bought a whole sirloin cap. So most of you guys know a sirloin cap is picanha. This was a nice one. This was 3.5 pounds, and I want you to look at the fat cap on this. When you're talking about sirloin cap and picanha, the fat cap is a bonus. It's not something you want to trim off, and we're going to talk about that. Dan says it's traditionally served over polenta and gremolata. I'm not sure if I know what gremolata is, but polenta is something kind of like grits. Jeff, would you say that polenta is grits north of the Mason-Dixon line?
Yep.
Okay, so we're on the same page. It's similar. So, but I bought this 3.5 pound sirloin cap, and this thing's beautiful. Let's look at this thing. It's absolutely an amazing piece of meat. So this piece right here, Huzaifa, I hope you're still with me out there, because this is going to be my first dry aging project. We're not going to make picanha. One of my friends who also dry ages beef turned me on to something that I'm going to try. So this guy is currently in my steak locker. This is the first piece of beef that's going in the steak locker. We're going to dry age this guy for just 3 weeks, 21 days. And these pictures are not mine. I borrowed these pictures from the guy that told me what to do with this. You can see in this picture here, this is dry aged sirloin cap up here. It's been dry aged for 3 weeks in a steak locker. And what he's done is he has chopped this stuff up coarsely. He separated the fat cap after he dry aged it. Then he coarsely chopped this beef, all of it. We didn't shave the pellicle or anything. We kept all that. He coarsely chopped the fat cap, and he's made these into hamburger patties. He's put 6 ounces of beef and 2 ounces of fat in each one of these. And he said he used some kind of big cookie cutter to form these, but I've got a hamburger press I could form these with. And he said you put them in the refrigerator and chill them, or put them in the freezer a bit and chill them before you cook them. And he's got these guys on a soapstone here on his Kamado Joe with a burger press or a bacon press or whatever you want to call these presses on top of it to cook them, to help get them cooked and hold them together. So when I was discussing this idea with him, I said, I'm not real sure about that. I said, I don't know if I'm going to try that. I said, I might just grind it. And he says, well, you can do both. He says, you can take a little bit off. And he says that he really wants me to try what he's done. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull enough off where I can make 1 or 2 patties like that. And I'm going to run the rest of it through my grinder, because that's going to produce more meat than I'll eat right away. So I'm going to grind it. I'm going to get I've got a pretty nice meat grinder. It's one of these LEM Big Bite. It's the smallest one of the Big Bite line, but that's more than I need. We're going to grind some of that, and we're going to have some dry aged hamburger, and we're going to see how that is. I've not had it before, and I'm going to see if I can tell the difference in dry aged burger. Jeff, have you ever had any dry aged ground beef?
Nope.
I haven't either. And I don't even know if I've seen it for sale anywhere.
I've never seen it in the store.
Now, Porter, I'll take that back. I've had some dry aged ground beef. Porter Road, their ground beef comes from dry aged, but their dry aging is only a 14-day process. It's not like this, but the guy that's teaching me this technique said don't let it go longer than 21 days, because if you do, the pellicle will be too much to include. He said you'd end up having to shave some of it. But with this, you don't have any meat lost. You've only got moisture lost. So does that look like an intriguing concept, Jeff?
It does. But I like your idea of throwing it through the meat grinder using the very coarse cutter on your meat grinder.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to grind it real fine. I think probably the coarser the grind is, the better it's going to be.
Chili grind?
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 different dies for the grinder, and actually, I lost my somehow or another. I was going to grind something not long ago, and I realized that I had lost my the blade for my grinder, and I have new ones. So when I realized I had lost it, I ordered some, and I've got like a 4-pack of new blades for my grinder. So I'm ready to grind, and we will get the grinding going. I haven't ground anything in quite a while, but I like doing it. Having a grinder has been useful, because one of the things I like to use my grinder for is grinding chuck to make either burger or chili meat. None of my local grocery stores grind their own ground beef anymore, so I can't go in there and buy a chuck roast and tell them to give me the chili grind on it. You know, that extra coarse grind like you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. Maybe I'll do that. I'll probably do that now that you've mentioned it. I'll do a coarse grind for this stuff to see how it does. And I actually maybe even I'll make some chili with some of it.
That'd be
We'll
good chili.
see. Yeah. Uh, I don't know if the nuance of the dry aged beef is probably going to get lost in chili.
I would think it would.
Yeah, so I may or may not use that, but what I might do is when I get the grinder out to do this, I'll go buy a chuck. I'll go buy a chuck roast to grind and put the chili grind on it, so I'll have it as well.
Yep. I can't
But
find my grinder.
you
It's
can't what?
disappeared. I can't
It's
find my grinder. It's gotten legs and it's done walked.
disappeared. Those things are huge.
Well, mine is the attachment for the KitchenAid,
Oh, okay. Well, you
and
know what?
it,
I'll
it's
look around.
it done got legs and walked.
I
I
had
had
one of
two of
those.
them. Both of them gone.
I had one of those at one time, and if I can find the one I had, I'll send it to you.
Cool.
Somebody gave me one, and I've still got. I never took it out of the box.
I say I guess when we were cleaning sometime, it must have gotten in the wrong pile because both of them are gone. I had one and my mom had one.
Right. Okay. Well, that is the extent of the pictures I had set up to show everybody tonight. So I'm going to take that down. The other interesting thing at Atlanta Grill Company yesterday is on the way down there, I stopped at a rest stop to do what I do when I stop at a rest stop. And I got to thinking about it, and I hadn't seen Bobby Brennan in a while. You know, Bobby, the guy that used to own Kamado Joe. So I sent Bobby a text and told him that Eric and I were coming to Atlanta Grill Company at 3 o'clock, and we were going to have a really informal meet and greet. And I said I'd love to see you if you can make it. And it turns out that Eric had sent him a text also. Eric told me he had sent him a text when I hooked up with Eric, and Bobby showed up, so we got to see Bobby, which was nice. It was it's been it's been quite a while since I've been face to face with Bobby, especially since the pandemic. And
Does he look more relaxed?
oh yeah, you know what he told me. Jeff, Bobby told me he's played golf 109 times this year. So
Good for
that'll
him.
tell you something.
Good for
Bobby's
him.
yes, I'm so happy for Bobby. Uh Bobby, for those of you who have been following along, if you know that Kamado Joe and Masterbuilt have been bought out again, the capital investment company that owned those have sold them to a new group, another group. I can't remember the name of this new group, but I was talking to Bobby about. Bobby is really excited about this new ownership group because they are a group that owns a bunch of premium brands. They're not they're not low end at all, and Bobby has some really high hopes and really big levels of excitement for what can happen with Kamado Joe under this new ownership group. So I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to
premium
see what.
residential brands and also commercial brands.
Right. Uh,
I think it's going to be a good fit for them. I really do. It's given them. They got the inside of the house. Now they got the outside of the house.
right. What I'm curious about now, really, with that is how Masterbuilt fits into that because Masterbuilt, and when you look at the other holdings that this company has, Masterbuilt's kind of the bottom rung of the ladder. So,
That's what kind of surprises me. I guess they had to buy it in a package deal, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you don't see Masterbuilt spun off.
well, it might, but uh, we'll see what happens. I don't foresee anything bad happening here. It's just one of those things. It is what it is. But Kamado Joe is in terms of sales now. Kamado Joe, I don't remember exactly when it happened. It's been over a year ago, but Kamado Joe has surpassed Big Green Egg in global sales and number of units sold every year. So, Janice, no, I currently don't. I don't know what will happen with the new company in terms of selling at Lowe's and Walmart, but Lowe's and Walmart close out what inventory they have on all that stuff at the end of the year every year. So it's not just, if you look at what else is going on at Lowe's and Walmart, they got all kinds of other stuff that's being clearance priced as well. Uh, that's the way big box stores operate. They're reducing their inventory right now so they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Except in Florida, we don't ever get those clearance prices
Well,
because we
Florida,
barbecue 365.
right. And you're going to run into the same problems in Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. All the southern states where the climate's a lot milder and where they're selling more of that stuff during the off season, they won't clearance it there. I don't see a lot of clearance stuff like that at my Walmart or my Lowe's. It just doesn't. I'm far enough south that our winters are mild enough that people are still buying that sort of stuff. But in the northern states where it gets cold and where they really do have a grilling season, they don't.
Hey, I don't care. I could have 3 feet of snow on the ground. I'm going out and I'm cranking up the grill.
Well, you're not going to have to worry about that in Orlando. Does it ever? Have you ever seen snow in Orlando?
Twice since I've lived here.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't
snow
enough
here that frequently anymore either.
It never. I mean, it just barely stuck on the ground. I mean, it didn't.
Right.
It was nothing that lasted.
Yeah, I like to see snow, but we don't get that much of it. And when we do, it's usually a wet, heavy snow that doesn't last very long. So we'll see. November was cold. We had a way colder November than normal. We had a bunch of nights where it was down in the mid-20s in November, which is out of the ordinary for here. So let's wake Tanya up. Hey, Tanya.
Hey.
Okay, we're about ready to wrap up. I talked to Chef Eric about Chef Eric wants to come back on, so we're going to do that. Chef Eric, I think this coming week is headed out to Wichita, Kansas, where he's going to do some more cooking videos with Chef Tom Jackson out at All Things Barbecue. He said they're going to do, I think he said they were going to do six new videos in 2 days or something like that. And Chef Eric's going to come back on with me sometime soon. And I talked to him. I would like to get Chef Eric and Chef Tom Jackson on together sometime. So Eric said he was going to talk to Tom about that to see where we could get both of them on. He said Tom's really I've never met Tom, but Eric said that Tom's a really shy, quiet, and reserved kind of guy. He may or may not be able to get him on, but Tom does great video content, and Tom's a great chef. And Tom, the thing that fascinates me about Chef Tom Jackson is he apprenticed under Ken Forkish out in Portland making pizzas. So I'm curious. I'd like to quiz Chef Tom about his pizza knowledge, and we'll try to get him on there. And look, Kevin's come to see Jeff.
Yeah, my buddy.
Dan, the keto's going pretty well. Tomorrow's weigh-in day, so I'll see if I lost any more weight this week. I was down last week. I hit the 30-pound mark. I've lost 30 pounds, just a hair over 30. I don't know where I'll fall tomorrow. We'll see. I haven't been able to get the exercise this week that I would like to have gotten because of cooking and road tripping. So we'll see where we end up this week. And Stephen Hickey's in there with us. So Chef Eric said he wanted to come on with Stephen. So I'm going to try to see if, once again, we're going to hit Stephen up and see if he'll come on maybe with me and Chef Eric one Friday night. Lily's hiding somewhere.
Lily is on the couch curled up in my jacket, and Hemi is curled up in one of the strawberry boxes. And I'm sure Meryl is probably upstairs in the hidey hole because it's warm and she's cold.
All righty. Well, I'll figure out what we're going to talk next week. This coming week, I've got my target cook for next week is going to be the rack of pork, Jeff. The Costco pork rack.
That reminds me, I need to go over to Costco and see if they've got them in yet. That was a great cut of meat.
Yeah, I've got that thawed out. It's in my refrigerator. I'm going to cook it the first part of the week. I got to figure out what I want to do with it because I want to do something different. I don't want to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to cook it on the Joe, and I'll have to.
Did you rotisserie it last time?
No, I cooked
I
it on the
what,
master.
It came out great on the
1060.
rotisserie.
Yeah, I cooked it on the Masterbuilt last time because I took the Masterbuilt up to like 550 and did the same thing I would do with a prime rib. You know, I seared it at 550 and then I brought the Masterbuilt down to 250 and finished it off. So I'm going to probably treat it like a prime rib, but I'm probably going to do the same way I would do a prime rib just on the Kamado Joe and just do it. That one I'm probably going to cook at 350 instead of 250 because I want to brown it up on the outside some, and I need to get 350 to do that.
You need to try it on the rotisserie. I'll tell you what, it really came out good on that.
Well,
it browned up nice.
That thing's big enough that I don't think I would want to do it on the Classic. If I had a Big Joe, which I don't have anymore, that piece of meat's wide enough that I'm not comfortable doing it on the rotisserie on the Classic because my charcoal bed at the bottom's not going to be as wide as my piece of meat. It'd be close. I could, and with those bones, it would do it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just do it on the rotisserie. I'll think about that. I'll take it out. I'll take the meat out there in the package and see what kind of space considerations I'm looking at on the Classic.
I think it'll fit fine. That's why I did mine on what's the Classic 3. It fit fine.
Well, let me come up with a unique way to season this. And the last time I did this, I made some of that homemade cranberry sauce. Stephen, no, I haven't bought the Weber rotisserie to use on the kettle, Joe. I don't think I'm going to. It's just not something I'm willing to buy. I know a lot of people are doing that, and it'll fit. I think it requires a little modification, and you know how I am when it comes to modification.
No, it fit right on there, John. I've got the Weber one. It fits right on there. It works like a champ.
Really? Yep. That cost about $120. What's the price
I don't think it's that much.
I probably can't buy it locally either. Tanya's looking at me. Look, she's laughing.
I am laughing. Sorry.
Well,
hey, I spent everything on grills this year, so I'm through buying grills.
I'm not going to buy anything else this year. If I cook it on the, I'll cook it. I'll cook it on the rotisserie. Let's just say we're going to do that. Last year when I cooked it, I did it on the Masterbuilt, and then when I was done, I put some of that. I made a video with I did homemade cranberry sauce last year, and I'm going to repost that video as well. And I can't remember if I made that as a separate video. I think I did make it as a separate video last year. I'll repost that video this coming week, so the cranberry sauce video will be out there. But I put cranberry sauce on after I cooked this rack of pork. I sliced them up and I put cranberry sauce on the pork chops, and that's beautiful. It's good, really delicious. But I'll have to do something different this year. That orange sauce that we just put on the duck would be beautiful on this pork.
That would be good on it too.
But I think I'm going to season. I'll season this pork maybe with that honey pecan, that new honey pecan rub that they have from Atlanta.
That's what I used on mine. That was great.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then I'll figure out a sauce. I'll come up with some sort of good sauce to make. I'll just have to think about it. I don't know what I'll come up with. I'll come up with something. Maybe
that orange sauce would be dynamite on it. It really would.
Yeah, but I don't
want to do the orange or the cranberry.
I don't want to do the orange 2 weeks in a row. So, for those of you that are listening here, what kind of sauce would you put on a rack of pork or on pork chops. Fruit sauces are traditional and typical. Maybe I should go savory somehow, Jeff. Maybe I should do some sort of Asian sauce with soy. Do a soy, either that or how about a pineapple soy sauce? A soy and pineapple, a Hawaiian sort of thing.
Janice, we're talking about a rack of pork.
Yeah, it's one of these 7 or 8 bone pork. It's a prime rib of pork, a bone-in prime rib of pork is exactly what we're looking at here.
Peach.
Okay, well we could do that. I could do the same sort of thing. I could buy some peach preserves or strawberry preserves or whatever kind of preserve we want and make a similar sauce, so just a different flavor profile. A cranberry Dijon, Ryan. That you're talking my language, brother. That cranberry Dijon. That
sounds good too.
I don't know, man. That one's scaring me. It's intriguing, but I'm trying to picture in my mind what the Dijon and cranberry. If that's not, Ryan? Have you done that before? Have you made that? Apricot or plum, dill and Dijon. Yeah, the cranberry. Cranberry is a very prominent flavor. It's a punch you in the face flavor, and Dijon is a punch you in the face flavor too. I'm trying to figure out how those two are going to work together. Ryan,
I think we're keeping Tanya up.
I'm sorry, guys. You have to understand. I've been filling in for a coworker, which means that I have to be on the road by 6 to cover his 8 o'clock class. And then I had my mental health first aid class till like 4. So
long day.
I'm zonked.
Ryan says he's done Dijon and apricot. Now I can see that one. Because the apricot's a much milder flavor than cranberry. Dijon and cranberry jam. I could do it like you would do a prime rib. I could take Dijon mustard. I could have minced garlic. I could have rosemary and dill and olive oil. And go completely on the savory side with it.
Oh, Stephen, I've had so much coffee this week and last week. It's not even funny. I have drank so much coffee.
Stephen, send Tanya a picture of your coffee maker, your espresso machine. Let her drool over that for a while. No, take that. Don't do that.
I was going to say, what are you saying?
No, John has already shown me the thing that I have drooled over. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And it happened to belong to Scott.
Which one was that? Oh, the knife.
The Carolina knife.
Oh, boy.
That's sweet, Scott. You give it a little extra love from me.
Tanya, Scott sent me a link to that guy's website tonight. The guy makes handmade knives that the handles are made from reclaimed wood from various cool places like the Battleship North Carolina or like the Dean Smith Center. Let's see here. I've got that knife. Here it is. Scott's got one of these. I'm going to bring the picture up. This knife's only $600.
That's a bargain, John. Why haven't you bought me 2?
Here it is. This is the knife. This knife, this wood and this handle is made from reclaimed wood from the Dean Smith Center at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. It's available. It is.
That's beautiful.
It's $600. And Tanya,
that's a great Christmas present for you, Tanya.
Serious. I mean, that'd be a stocking stuffer.
I looked at this knife and I was telling Scott, I like the shape of this knife. This is one of the few knives that's got enough spine space here that I can get my fat fingers underneath it and still rock without rubbing my fingers on the cutting board. I like this design. I'm going to talk to this guy. I'm probably gonna this coming year. I'm probably gonna buy one of these. I don't know if I'll buy the Carolina one, but Scott.
Look! Beautiful knife, Tar Heels all the way.
Well, there's a bunch of beautiful knives here. There's let's see. How about Lambeau Field? You know, here's one with reclaimed wood from Lambeau Field. He's got another one. Tanya, you'll appreciate this one. How about this, Tanya? This would be mine.
Yeah, well, yeah, this one's still not, from the Ding Dong or Carmichael. Either one would be perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So we'll.
But John, I wanted to point out something. Christopher, I think this is what you should check out.
A peach bulgogi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I'll do some research over the weekend and I'll come up with something. I don't know. Tanya, I've still got blueberries that I harvested this summer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Look, Scott says they even have Reynolds, for the Wolfpack fan in your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk to the guy, and I don't know. We'll figure out something. I'd like to have one of those knives, and I'm next year. I'm going to buy one of his knives because I like the shape of that knife, and that knife feels good in my hand. It feels better than anything else I've got, and the blade quality is off the hook, and it's screaming sharp. It's got a nice thin blade profile like these Asian knives have, and it's a really high-end stainless steel that these are made out of.
Yeah, but we only had this situation during state and Carolina games.
Well,
and then John usually will make arrangements to not be at the house. As a matter of fact, he tends to make arrangements to not be at the house during any of the Carolina basketball games.
yeah,
Because things do get a little bit rambunctious.
They do.
Yeah.
There's one of two things that happens when Carolina plays. They either win or the referees were making bad calls all night.
Exactly. Y'all see how smart he is? It didn't take any time for me to train him to understand that.
You've done well, Tanya.
All right, guys, we need to wrap up. One thing I want to get some feedback from you guys on. I've been thinking about it, and I said before that we've got Christmas Eve this year falls on a Friday night. New Year's Eve falls on a Friday night. So I'm going to do one of two things. I was thinking about, not doing live streaming on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. I don't know what we got planned. I don't know what plans we have. So Tanya and I are going to have some plans on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but I don't know if they'll run all the way out to 8:30. If you would be interested in a live stream on those two nights, let me know, yay or nay. Just tell me one way or the other if you would be interested in streaming those nights or whether you wouldn't. I don't know. I'm most likely not, but if there's enough interest, I might try to put something together, something simple, something maybe shorter, and we'll go from there. So just let me know, leave a comment here, and I'll probably take, I'm most likely not, but if there's enough. I'm getting some feedback from somewhere there. So we'll figure it out. I'm probably not going to stream. Next week will be the last live stream we do until after the first of the year, probably. we'll have something next week, and
Likely not, but if there's enough fish, probably.
Smack
All
that
right.
phone.
I don't know where that lag's coming from, but all right, guys, we're gonna shut down. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see you back next Friday night.